These gadgets are freely available for sale on the internet and, as you know, could be dangerous in the wrong hands. For example, this universal key set costs €6 and opens mailboxes. This is a USB drive that destroys hard drives in a military-grade way, to use their terms. This one can unlock a PC that has a password, or this, it's an FM transmitter that lets you create a pirate radio station. So, if it wasn't already clear, I think you see the kind of items we're going to test. So, a little disclaimer, please use these items privately and never for anything illegal. This one, in this case, is supposed to give me access to a Windows PC even if it has a password. It's literally going to remove the account password. We're going to test this with a PC I have running Windows. As you can see, I have a password here. And by the way, this is Windows 11, but it works just as well on all versions of Windows. Windows XP, Windows Vista, Windows 7, 8, 10, 11, and even Windows Server for the more advanced users. We need to plug the USB drive into the PC, and then we need to boot the PC from it. I'm going to shut down my PC, restart it, and repeatedly press F2 to enter the BIOS instead of booting into Windows. Here's my Windows, turning it off now, and this is the USB drive I just plugged in. Plug it in, leave it on, and boot the PC from it. It says loading files, so it must be loading files from the USB drive. Okay, it just booted into a version of Windows and it's not my Windows, that's not my wallpaper. Easy solution, Password Reset Pro for Windows. There's even a support email. Look, it's on Outlook, outlook.com. That doesn't look very professional. I think actually there's a version of Windows on the USB drive that has a program which will run to reset the password. They don't have a Windows license, so they can't sell Windows that way. Because look, here we have a bunch of default applications in the Windows system on the USB drive, so this one, Pass Reset. That must be the one we're interested in. Let's launch it. We have to choose a user, so these are all the users on my PC. There's Nicholas and me, but there's also an administrator account. And now if I click remove password, that's it. It deleted the account's password. What? Just turn off the PC. This must be an old Windows version. I have Windows 11 and it's clearly different. The password was supposed to be removed from my account, but it seems it's just that easy. We can see the accounts, but the password remains by default. But if I go to sign in options and click on the key, I can type it in. I kinda thought it was a scam, but it works well. If you ever forget your password, it's amazing. Don't use it illegally. If you ever want to protect yourself from this kind of tool, actually you should know that this tool can't reset the BIOS password. You know, that's what I showed you that lets you choose what the PC will boot from. Of course, you can also set a password on the BIOS just like on the PC, and if you ever put a password on the BIOS, then we won't be able to boot your PC from this USB stick and we won't be able to reset your password. Before moving on to the next item, I have a message for everyone who's looking for a new cross-platform game with a really original art style that really transports you. Honestly, I think it's really well done. This game is Endless Zone Zero, which is sponsoring this video. It's an action RPG with a futuristic and urban style by Oyoverse. In it, you'll be able to explore a whole futuristic post-apocalyptic world and develop your own team of characters with animations that make for ultra badass fights. The game is exactly 1 year old as I'm telling you this, and yet the community is already huge and the developers are constantly working to keep improving it. The big news this month is that the game has just arrived on Xbox. It has been fully optimized in 4K at 60 FPS with ray tracing and HDR, which makes the experience even more immersive. You can even enjoy crossplay between PC, mobile, and Xbox. That means you can pick up your game anywhere. And this arrival on Xbox coincides with the release of the new major update 2.0. You'll be able to explore the brand new Y Wayfair zone inspired by Taoism, with special gameplay focused on managing a Taoist city. You can manage your video store. On the combat side, you'll get to meet Yixun of the Ultra S rank. Devastating combos, ultra fast pace, really dynamic visual effects. Seriously, it's action-packed, you have to be quick. Or Jufufu, known for her explosive style and fire break mechanic. The developer aims to innovate and connect with its community, which led to creating the Oyo Cafe in Berlin. There's a special ZZZ event until July 13th, so don't hesitate to check it out if you're around. Finally, if you're thinking, anyway, you have to play a lot to get these characters. You just need to log in now to get all these rewards. New users can get extra bonuses by entering this code at sign up. I'll list everything in the description. Here are universal keys for mailboxes, and you can buy them on Amazon for €6. It makes me wonder, why can we buy this so easily? I'm going to try them on my mailbox, but basically they're called PTT keys. Obviously, normally it's professionals who buy these, like mail carriers, delivery people, tradesmen, real estate agents. I didn't understand why real estate agents, but that's what they put on their Amazon page. And basically there are lots of types of PTT locks. Each time it's the same ones that are made. And just these two keys can open 80% of PTT locks, and if you have a lock that's not included, well, they have 21 different keys, and with that, normally you have all the possible PTT locks covered. I had fun testing them, obviously first at my place since I live in an apartment building, and actually it doesn't work on newer buildings because apparently the locks are custom made. Well, there you go, it was a failure. But it very often works on outdoor mailboxes. It turns out that with Fuse we have offices, which means we have an outdoor mailbox, and well, what's going on? Anyone can come by and open our mail with this key. Before testing the Destruct Pro key that destroys hard drives, we're going to test this Fingerprint USB key. Now this one isn't dangerous unlike the others, on the contrary, it's going to help protect you. The idea is to plug it into your PC, open Windows settings, and set up a security key. It blinks and you just put your finger on it. This key enables two-factor authentication for all your high-risk accounts, like bank, Google, and social media accounts. That means every time you want to log in, you'll have to plug in this USB key and put your finger on it. And there's a little satisfying aspect because when you put your finger on it, you see it turns red. You can set up this key on your Windows login screen to log in with your finger, even if your PC lacks a fingerprint reader. I wanted to discuss this USB key, thinking it might protect against the one that destroys passwords. Spoiler, I tested it, it doesn't. So yeah, this device, you might have already seen that video where Micode plays around with recovering files from hard drives he bought on Le Bon Coin. Normally, these are hard drives that are sold empty, meaning the person deleted all the files on them, but usually the person just hit delete, that's it. This method for deleting files doesn't work well, but with specialized software, you can actually recover the files you've deleted. And there could be sensitive photos, passwords, important documents. Well, that's where Destruct USB Pro comes in, this USB stick. You plug it in just like the one you use to reset passwords. By the way, the design of both sticks looks very similar, but they're not made by the same person, and it's the same thing. We have to boot the PC from it. So once again, we go into the BIOS. We're going to disable Windows and enable this Destruct Pro USB stick. We'll see it here, and we'll boot from it. There you go. Yeah, it's doing something. It's restarting. Okay, yeah, there's Destruct Pro underneath. While it's loading, I can explain a bit about the point of this. It's that, well, as I showed you with my codes, if you sell your devices on Le Bon Coin, the person could potentially recover your data. This USB stick will fill your hard drive with random data so that nothing can be recovered anymore. And so, this will allow you to sell your devices or hard drives without worrying that the person will try to recover the data that was on them and has been deleted. Okay, you see, we have to accept the license. I imagine there are things like, yeah, I acknowledge taking all responsibility for erasing my data and everything so the publisher doesn't have any problems. And here we have our partition which we can select and we can press wipe. For context, this is an old PC I'm testing. That means, well, I don't care if it's not there anymore. Worst case, I'll reinstall Windows and it's not going to destroy my PC, but it still stresses me out a bit when I see, damn, that it's loading. Look, it's done in several steps. First, it does an initial pass where it deletes everything at once, then a second pass where it does cryptographic destruction. I imagine it encrypted all the raw data it could find on the hard drive, and then it does a final pass where it deletes everything again. Unsurprisingly, there's nothing left I can boot my PC from because my hard drive has been completely reset, so now theoretically I could sell the hard drive. If I had only done a factory reset through Windows, professionals could still recover my files. Now that's not possible. You may have heard about pirate radio stations in history class. Like during World War II, there were radio stations that were, well, illegal and allowed, for example, resistance fighters to share information with each other. Well, we're going to make our own pirate radio with this. Great! Okay, it's illegal, don't do it. Basically, this costs 50 euros and lets you broadcast signals over 2 kilometers. That's why we have a huge antenna. You should know there are lots of frequencies radio stations can broadcast on, and each station has its own frequency. For example, these are the frequencies of the best known stations. This little device can broadcast on 320 different frequencies. It can broadcast on frequencies already used by radio stations. If I turn it on, I can pick any frequency to broadcast. Out of curiosity, I'm still going to test it. So look, here we're going to plug our device in with USB-C. We have our antenna here, and basically we're going to connect an audio cable here, and I took a cable that can connect to my phone. So I'm going to connect this cable to my phone, and basically that's going to let me broadcast my own radio station. And basically I'm going to broadcast one of my own videos. The guys are a bit egotistical, but it's funny to think there's a radio A1 within 2 kilometers of me. To test it, I'll use a Silvercrest clock radio from Lidl. Hello, I spend my time, I mess around. Anyway, it's going to do the job for our experiment. The quality isn't amazing, but it'll be enough. We're going to set an FM frequency. Now, everything depends on matching the transmitter and my clock radio frequency. I love it. Not sure if you can hear it. I need to integrate this with others. Yeah, a small frequency bug, but you can watch it live here. There you go, I have Radio A1 running on the frequency. On 94.1 there's Radio A1 currently broadcasting where you can listen to my amazing video about the Morpian robot I made for Battle of the Fuses. And if I do this, well, it works within a 2 km radius. I'm going to turn it off. I'm going to turn it off. There you go. We're going to stop the device. There, if I turn it off, there's nothing left on this frequency. Obviously, professionals use machines that transmit 100,000 times more than this little thing. And they also have transmitters in different places around France. And 2 km is still something, you know? I know this is going to give some people ideas. Broadcasting illegally can lead to 6 months in prison and a 30,000 euro fine, so avoid it. For instance, this 10-meter transmitter is a small FM device, and I mention it because it has a legitimate use. The idea behind this little device is that you plug it into a phone, it has a range of 10 meters and costs $10. Well, now you might say, great, it's useless. Actually, the idea is that if you have an older car that doesn't allow you to connect via Bluetooth to play music, you'll be able to connect this to a phone. Look, let's do it. And if you play music or one of Alien's YouTube videos on your phone and choose a frequency with this little device, well, on your car radio, okay, I'll use my clock radio, you just have to choose the same frequency and it lets you listen to the music of your choice with your phone in your car. Honestly, I love it. I'm having fun with the radio waves and all that. I think it's really cool. The benefit is the short range, and since you're in a moving car, you won't disturb others with your signal, so it's actually a pretty smart way to use it. This object is really something worthy of a spy. No, of a psychopath. No, honestly, let's call it what it is. Plus, if you look at the pictures of the thing on the Amazon page, it cracks me up. Here, you see there's a guy who's 1,000 meters away from a hotel and who would be able to listen to conversations in that hotel thanks to this. Same thing here, with a target that's 500 meters away from a warehouse. And with this, you could hear everything over there. Originally, it's for people who want to listen to animals normally, even though that doesn't seem to be what they're highlighting on their page, but nothing stops you from listening to people's conversations without them knowing with this thing. Just connect the headphones, add a battery, though I did it sloppily, then open my window and listen to people outside. Bro, you look like a psycho if someone sees you at the window with that. I'm ashamed of myself. Let me listen. You want me to listen over there? Inside, it's special, you can hear things. So I aimed it at a house because no one walks by my place. And like, actually I could hear everything that was happening inside. That means I could see that someone was moving a table. I could hear conversations, but I couldn't make out what they were saying. I just knew it was an old lady talking. Imagine if I can understand through a wall. If I aim it directly at someone's lips on the street, I can hear everything. I'll demonstrate so you can see how it works. Look, I'll put these headphones on you, which are the device's headphones, and I'm going to tape over the button that activates the machine, and now it's always on. There you go, now it's permanently activated. I'll put you in the machine here. Close to the... I don't know if it's just my experience, it worked, but honestly, I think this device is amazing. A spy camera in a watch. There you go. I often show you spy cameras in this series, but it's true that this is the most common kind of gadget for psychopaths, especially in Airbnbs. Like seriously, be careful if you're going away this summer. The special thing about this one is that, well, you can leave it on a table and record, but you can also wear it on your wrist and it will have a whole sports watch interface. This is the famous hidden camera. You can spot it if you look closely. And honestly, there's some real intelligence in the design of this thing because look, if I press the button on the side, a heart appears and it's not a heart to say, yeah, you're healthy, it's a heart to show that it's recording. If I press it again, the heart disappears and recording stops. It's that simple. You can then take the watch and remove the micro SD card under the charging tip. Imagine this. No one knows I'm recording everything around me. Now I've connected the SD card to my PC and have all the videos, but the quality is terrible. I also checked the manufacturer's email on the watch. It says Javisgor 2020. Gmail javisgor2020@gmail.com. When you have a gmail.com email address, it just feels like it's some guy in his room who put this together in a rush, and so it makes me trust the quality of the thing even less. At any moment, people can record, so I don't know, confidential meetings at their work without others knowing, or private conversations that aren't supposed to be filmed. Ever wondered where to stand in a hotel room or at home for the best Wi-Fi signal? This old-fashioned device is meant to help. We'll turn it on and that's it. No other menu, that's the interface. Here are all the Wi-Fi networks nearby or farther away that I can detect. If it picks up even a little, this device will show it. The position and size of the curve indicate how well we're detecting the Wi-Fi. I'm next to my Wi-Fi device, showing the strong signal. I enjoyed moving around my apartment to see how the signal weakens, especially behind a wall. As expected, the signal got weaker. I also enjoyed leaving my apartment to see in the hallways how well people could pick up my network, if at all. And apparently, I have a good network because even when I'm really far away, you can see that the signal is weaker, but I can still pick up my network. If you connect to your neighbor's Wi-Fi network, well, it's kind of a must-have to know which room you need to go to in your place to get a good signal, because obviously you don't know where they've put their router. No, but seriously, I think it's actually a pretty useful device. I hope this video has satisfied your curiosity so you don't have to buy these items. But it still shows how easy it is for anyone to get and use this kind of device without special knowledge. If these items are being sold, people are buying them, so protect your equipment. In IT, better to be overly cautious. This is Awen. Take care.